This is the Investor Connect podcast program. I'm Hall T. Martin. I'm the host of this show in which we interview angel investors, venture capital, family offices, private equity, and many other investors for early stage and growth companies. I hope you enjoy this episode. Well, hello, this is Hall Martin with Investor Connect. Today we're here with Heidi Ellenberger Jones of ModernJones. Heidi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Hall. Thank you for having me.
So you have quite an experience there with ModernJones, a really great company. I'd like to dig in and learn more about it. So can you tell us what were you doing before you started that business?
So prior to starting ModernJones, I was with several other real estate brokerages. And prior to that, I was with a company out of New York called Reciprocal. And this company did digital rights management sort of before we had Kindles and things like that. They were a little bit ahead of their time. So I was working in a startup before real estate.
Oh, great. And so when did you start the company, ModernJones?
So I started officially in October of 2018, but I had branded myself ModernJones far earlier than that when I started to really get focused in residential real estate. And I didn't want, as people were growing teams and things, I didn't want it to be the Heidi Ellenberger Jones team. I wanted it to be an entity that anybody could be that person so that it wasn't always reliant on me. But my goal was always to build something bigger than just me as an individual. So that's where ModernJones started, but there was the impetus to actually starting my own brokerage happened in 2018 after a health issue with my husband that kind of kicked me into gear, and I decided, what am I waiting for? So
how did it start? How did you get it off the ground?
So just to give you a little bit of context, as I mentioned, I had branded myself, but as ModernJones, but was reluctant to sort of leave a brokerage to start my own until my husband got sick with cancer out of nowhere, and he's healthy now. But it was a real wake up call to me to think, like, why am I waiting on these dreams of starting my own business? And it's never going to be the right time. So after that, I was working for a small boutique firm, and I just decided now's the time. So in October, I got all of my licensing and just decided to jump. So I've been in business officially as my own brokerage, ModernJones, since, like I said, 2018 and October of 2018.
Oh, great. And so where did you do this? Where did it happen?
So we're located in the DC metropolitan area in Virginia. If you know this area, North Arlington, close to the city. I have an office here in Arlington and an office in Georgetown in DC.
Great, great. And so for the company, what's your ideal customer? Who are you serving the best?
So my ideal customer is a busy executive or a busy couple or family that are really looking for an advisor that they can trust and will provide professionalism and service beyond the transaction. Those are really our ideal clients because we're providing service beyond just wanting to take care of them through the transactions. We're really interested in having clients for multiple transactions and services and help support them in maintaining their investment in real estate and really helping them live in their home. So more of like a holistic approach to real estate. So we're taking that frenzied busyness out of it, and they have this trusted partner in us that we're going to advise them to the best of our ability with data and professionalism to get them the most money for their investment and help them maintain that investment for the life of their investment and the life of that they live within that investment.
Great. So you talked about the challenge you had with cancer in your family. How did that change your perspective on life?
I think you can't go through something like that and not have it change your perspective on life. For me, the biggest aha with that whole situation is that I was living a life based in fear and based in fear of things that might not ever happen and constantly preparing for fear. And what I realized after that situation is that you can only control what you can control. And that's not the future and it's not the past. It's only the present. And I found that I had a choice whether to live in that present moment or to be constantly worrying about what might happen. And I think for our entire family, I have 2 kids, and obviously my husband was young. He was 48 years old. And it just, I think, made us more resilient and more appreciative for life. And I see my clients often living in this busyness of worry and doing instead of being. And I think it's interesting that we're talking right now in the midst of this pandemic, because I think it's really forcing people to slow down and appreciate more of the being instead of the doing, because you're restricted about what you can do. So that's what it taught me. I think resilience and not living in fear.
And so let's talk about the pandemic. Do you think that's going to change the way people are going to do work and live and go forward afterwards? Do you think it's going to change the way they view life and the work-life balance, for example?
I think so. I hope so. I think that we were certainly starting to see some of that already in certain cases. I think it's interesting when, at least, we're in the DC metropolitan area. And so we've been in this stay-at-home order for now 5 weeks. And it's just interesting to me how, that first week, people weren't sure really what to do. And I saw some of my cohorts in real estate, how they were addressing it. And I think that it goes to the point where there's some companies, especially in real estate, that are so focused on the transaction, they forget the people. And to me, you cannot forget the people in a residential real estate. I've been in business, and when you purchase, I used to be in procurement for Citibank. I did procurement systems, and that's more detached. But when you're in something that business where the biggest investment that this individual is going to make, you're responsible or you're advising them on, you can't forget that human emotion. And I think that this will definitely change the way people do business. I thought that it was interesting. Some companies are talking about, oh, we can do things online. Well, I've always done things online. I've sold houses where people have been sight unseen. I have clients from all over the globe. And what the differentiator, again, is that human connection, because they trust me. And they know that my value, or the value of ModernJones, is that we're going to be honest, we're going to be loyal, we have strong integrity. So we're going to tell you our best opinion of what the situation is. And I think that to do business virtually, you have to have some basis of trust. So I think things will change, but I also think that it's going to build bigger human connection, is my opinion.
I think so too. I think it gives people a chance to stop, pause, and think about what's really important in life, and come out on the other side with a renewed commitment to their goals and each other and what's important, as opposed to what must be done. It seemed like life was a little bit frenetic before. and it may have
Right.
slowed down. Certainly has slowed down. It may continue on that path afterwards. So I think it has its moments there for us to consider.
I think the other piece of it too is that I've certainly noticed this is just the community is reaching out and lifting the community as a whole. One of our local elementary schools, the teachers, when they knew that this shutdown was happening, set up a GoFundMe page for the families that they knew were reliant on the food programs at the schools. And in a matter of a few days, $200,000 was raised. And to me, that's, part of residential real estate too, is just that community feel like we're all in this together. I mean, this is so beyond this small community or your community. It's worldwide. And so just making sure that you're doing a little bit for everyone, if you're fortunate enough to have a roof over your head, food on your table, a job, I think just reaching out to those people in your community to help, I think is heartwarming to see some of that has come out of this.
It's great to see so many people coming together, and I think there'll be so many stories we'll look back upon in the future as those were the times.
Yes.
So back on the journey for Modern Jones, what challenges did you face in getting that up and off the ground and growing it?
So the biggest challenge is I had some people that were with me right at the beginning and then decided that entrepreneurship wasn't for them. And so that's hard when you invest time and money in people and it doesn't work out, because I think that can be a challenge. And I think with entrepreneurship, it takes grit and perseverance, and not everyone's always up for that, and it's not always perfect. And so to me, that's what makes it so exciting. But I can understand for others that unknowing or not having a clear-cut pathway always can be unsettling. So I think that's been hard, just trying to find the right people and get them engaged and being spread a couple different ways, right? Because you're growing the vision and hiring people and getting the team assembled. So I would say that's been one of the biggest challenges.
And so what's your solution? What are you offering that other people don't? You talked about integrity and being the right group, but many other groups are that as well. Not a lot, but many.
Right.
But what is your unique offering there?
So I think one of the unique offerings for Modern Jones is transparency in the process. I think that another differentiator is focusing on the client's needs, that it's not a one size fits all. I can honestly say in the 20 years that I've been doing this, every transaction's different and every individual is different, and really understanding what the client's needs and expectations are up front so that we have agreements to move forward. So it's a seamless transaction for them, and that the overall experience for them is what they want. I mean, some people want to talk all the time and ask 100 questions. Other people that are like, just send me over the forms, and really adjusting to that, to who you're working with. The other piece is providing services beyond just staging and individuals to do your lawn care. But as I mentioned in the beginning, our clients are busy people. They have lots of demands and they expect a level of professionalism. And so it's like anticipating those needs beyond what are apparent. So listening to what people are saying to you and how you can provide vetted service providers to help them lead a life that's a little easier so they can spend their time the way they want to spend their time, not being mired in caring for a house or a rental property or whatever their investment is.
And how does that change the dynamic with the customer? How does that change the actual process of closing a sale or doing the transaction?
So 98% of our clients are repeat clients. And so I think that once you build that trust with someone, that the process changes is because it's individualized. It's more of a boutique experience as opposed to you're one of a million transactions and this is how we do it. And this is how we always do it. We don't care what you want. We just need to get on to the next transaction. I think that's what's gotten the industry as a whole just a bad reputation. And so changes the process. We ask a lot of questions. We have processes in place to really gather that information. I like to provide our clients with a lot of data. I noticed that other companies don't always do that. I mean, when we would have brokers open, I always ask questions and collect that data. I don't think I've ever seen another agent ever fill out a form. And it always shocks me because we're supposed to be providing a service to our client, and how better to provide that service than to get feedback from the people that are bringing other clients and selling other houses and have information that we don't, and then collecting that information and reporting that back to our clients. And then that helps them be more educated. It helps us be more educated in how we advise them. So I like to collect data. I like to review data. I like to see what's going on with the numbers. And now is especially interesting. We're about to get into what's really happening with the numbers, because our transactions from transaction to close is usually 4 to 6 weeks from ratification to close. And so we're in that kind of time period now, 5 weeks out, that those houses that are closing now were houses that were just put on the market when this all started. So I think it's just interesting to see those patterns and be able to advise and educate and give transparency. I think that helps people feel like they're not being taken, or they understand what the process is.
Well, it's quite different from other groups, which are just much more transactional and much more bare bones in the data and so forth. What else do you do that's different?
So we really value our clients and our relationships with our clients. And so many of them become friends and advocates. We provide different seminars and business information, masterminds with our clients. And a lot of them are business owners just like me. So, and investors just like I am. So sharing that information, I tend to be a hub for information. I'm a collector of information. So from that standpoint, we really try to share that information with people, whether it's beyond just the traditional real estate piece. It's keeping your mind and body healthy. It's great restaurants or food delivery services or flowers that are locally grown and can be delivered. It's who can come to your house and detail your car. It's really things that like save people time, which ultimately is money for our clients.
Well, that's great. So you mentioned a 98% return rate to your business and so forth. What other results can you share with us about it?
About our return rate or just our
overall results of the business?
Yeah. So we had a decent year last year. I think it was, we made money, which is a huge win for a first year in business. And we're on track to at least double that number this year. So it's not exactly where I want it to be, but I think that the first year taught me a lot in terms of what kind of business I wanted to run and how best to serve our clients. And so, yeah, I think we're on track to do some pretty good numbers this year. We're looking at, like I said, doubling what we did last year and hopefully more. It's been a great year so far. We have a number of houses pending, and it doesn't seem to be letting up despite the pandemic. We've just been honest with our clients and protected them in terms of how we provide our service and have people come through their houses. So,
well, that's great. Sounds like it's really going well for you. You should be very proud of yourself for putting that together and the team you have as well.
Yeah.
In the last few minutes that we have here, what else should we cover that we haven't?
Oh, I think that about covers it. I mean, we're excited. We're looking forward to adding new services and refining our process as we go and adding more people to our team, and just excited at the future of really providing a lifestyle brand that goes beyond the traditional real estate transaction, but stays with the client through their life and the life of their homes.
Well, great. So how best for listeners to get back in touch with you?
So the best way is they can email me at heidi.jones@modernjonesexperience.com. They can connect with me on LinkedIn at Heidi Ellenberger Jones, or go to our website at modernjones.com.
Great. We'll put those in the show notes. I want to thank you for joining us today and hope to have you back for a follow-up.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Investor Connect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorconnect.org. Halti Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for the basis of investment decisions.